Do you want to see what Torghast actually looks like? Well, Torghast came out in Shadowlands, not the best expansion in the world, but it was an alright expansion, I guess. It had some cool things in it, a lot of things not very great. Torghast was pretty cool, except for the fact that high-end players felt like they had to run it like twice a day, which that's a lot. I didn't run it that much, but when you walk into Torghast, for those of you who have not done Torghast at all, you fight through different floors, you fight enemies, and then once you defeat all the enemies on the floor, or the boss, or whatever is on the floor, you go to the next level. And there are hundreds, I think there's like 150, I don't remember how many levels there are, I never finished it. There are a ton of levels. And the whole premise of the tower is that you're traveling upwards, and you're moving through different rooms, and there's just infinite rooms. What if I told you that's all a lie? Yeah, Torghast Tower of the Damned is all located on one map. Today we uncraft Torghast Tower of the Damned. And before we jump in, I want to quickly just say that I appreciate all the support you guys have been giving. It has been insane. And I will say that if you do want to give a super thanks, if you want to give them, that's great. They will be shown at the end of every video, just so you're aware of that. Let's jump in to Torghast. I first entered one of the levels of the tower, and I looked for a way to get out of bounds. I found absolutely nothing. This place is sealed very tightly. Thankfully, I have some special tools at my disposal, and I was still able to explore, though the tools I used are quite limited. No, these are not external tools, mind you, and that's all I'm going to say about it. The first place I looked was the Runecarver's area. This area looks massive, but compared to the rest of the tower, it is actually very small. I wanted to see what these giant skeletons were hiding, but it turned out to be nothing at all. The lightning does have some weird effects though when you get close. When I entered the upper reaches, it was honestly more difficult than I thought it would be, even with the exploration tools at my disposal. So it took about 45 plus minutes to break out of here. That's insane, because I'm using some of the best things that I know how to use, and it still took 45 minutes to find a way out. But when I did, this is what I discovered. Torghast, Tower of the Damned, is all inside one instance. This place might be the largest map in World of Warcraft, or at least one of them. I don't have any words for this. You can see dozens of prisons that are all supposed to be holding lost souls that the jailer has collected, and that Sylvanas is apparently trying to rescue now, but who knows. And you can get a glimpse of how this area was kind of created by the developers, as it looks like they put a bunch of assets and they copied and cloned them, which, I mean, how else would you create an area like this? It's actually really large. It's kind of impressive, to be honest. Before I moved on, I looked backwards and I could actually see part of the tower protruding out into the nothingness. It's a really weird visual. I don't know why, it just seems weird to me. I wasn't sure where to go from here since the area is massive, and I don't know, I didn't look up any videos on this. I have no idea if anyone's ever done this before. So I just decided to head towards one of the many weird looking chunks of texture. Heading towards this new structure, I was actually able to see the bottom of the tower, which is incredibly strange. Just like the top of the tower. It's just weird to see the top and the bottom. I think this one is actually a reflection, but I'm not sure. As well as seeing the bottom of the tower, we see many more prisons, and I think this is a feature of the upper reaches. I think if I was in a different area and broke out of bounds, I'd see different stuff. We can also see a strange plane of light here at the bottom. It looks really stark and strange out in the open like this, but I think this is what gives these particular areas their strange orangish glow. If you ever figure out how to do this, please be careful with getting too close to these gel cells. I actually got stuck in one of these, and it took me an ungodly amount of time to get out of here. Like, I felt like I was going to be stuck here for a long time, or have to perth out of here. Eventually, when I did escape, I explored this new area. This is still a part of the upper reaches, but it is a different map. It looks strange though, as the polygons seem to be much less refined. They're probably not loaded in properly. And it was very surprising to me that any of this loads in at all. Even though I'm so far away from where I should be, it's still all here. Another really cool discovery was that there was a portal here, an entrance portal. Blizzard, before you ban me, it was not possible to exploit this, as there is no way to enter a new floor as far as I could tell. That doesn't mean that we won't show you how you could possibly get more items than you are supposed to. Here's my thinking though. It would take so long to get out here that you are significantly better off going through the tower normally. And therefore this would be the worst exploit of all time if I were to actually receive more items than expected in one area of Torghast. Torghast is meant to be fast. You're meant to be getting a lot of Stygia or whatever at once. Whatever the currency is, I can't remember at this point. But anyway, you're supposed to be getting that a lot at once. And here I am, I might be able to get just a little tiny bit more. And it takes an hour to do that. So if anyone was exploiting this, it would just be the dumbest idea you've ever had. So do not, if you ever figure out how to do this, do not exploit this. I'm not exploiting this except for maybe for views. Well, I didn't find a way out of this area, so I had to end up restarting my exploration with the limitation of my tools. There are some limitations. The next area I went to was still in the upper reaches, but it did not have a giant spire sticking out of the top or the bottom. I found a way to begin exploring the area, but this place had something very different in it. It actually had mobs that could be targeted, attacked, and killed. And oh, I managed to glitch this mob out too. I don't know how that happened. He's floating now. I have no idea why these guys respawn so far away from where I entered the tower. And technically you can loot them. Again, you can loot them if you kill them, but they don't drop anything more than a typical mob would. I decided not to loot them so that Blizzard couldn't say I obtained an advantage. The only other difference in this area was that there are lost souls behind bars in the prisons. So sad. Hopefully Sylvanas will rescue them soon, but I really doubt it. I moved on from this part of the upper reaches as I saw some weird looking textures in the far distance, and I wanted to see what they entailed. When I was approaching, I noticed that there was a clickable anima orb in front of the portal, and to my surprise, I was actually able to obtain a buff here. Again, this provides absolutely no advantage. I have to keep mentioning that because Blizzard has in the past told people that have been exploring these out of bounds areas, they have actually sent them like, hey, you need to stop because you're exploiting this. And no, this is not an exploit. An exploit would be getting to the final tower way before I'm able to, and that might be possible, but I'm not looking into that. Moving further into this area, there's actually an NPC here. Typically, if you are not familiar with the tower, there will occasionally be a floor with an NPC that sells buffs, foods, etc. I think on the 4th or 5th floor. I'm not really sure, it's been so long since I've done Torghast. I think it's usually on boss levels. I can't remember. I did sell a couple of items to the NPC, but did not buy anything. I thought this was incredible, but I decided to move on from here. Now, when leaving this area, I did see something incredibly strange. There's kind of like these absolutely enormous mushrooms in the background. They look like mushrooms anyway. Even from back here, you can tell that they are hundreds, if not thousands of feet tall. I had to check them out. This was an incredibly far journey. We're talking, I don't even know how long it was. I'm not going to count. It was like 15 minutes to get over here. Getting close, it looks like there's a weird shell in the center. I'm not sure why this is though. Getting even closer, we can see that there are more of these mushrooms in the distance too. To the left, we can see a chunk of a level of Torghast. Maybe, I'm not really sure. I didn't actually end up exploring this area in this part of the video. And oh, trust me, this exploration will be multiple parts, though they're not going to be every week. It's going to be spread out. Weirdly, there seems to be walls and chains and all kinds of stuff popping in and out of my field of view. It's really bizarre looking, and there it is. We can see a new floor of the Tower of the Damned. How absolutely amazing. We also changed the chat channel. I'm not really sure why the chat channel changed, but it did. Now, as we approach, we can see that the chains are holding this place up, and more of the details can be seen. For those of you who have been through Torghast, this might be familiar, but those of you like me who only did the first few layers of Torghast, this will be new. Welcome to the Fracture Chambers. Looking into this area a bit more, I think this might have been part of a questline. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. Shadowlands was just kind of like get through it as fast as possible for me. So I don't really remember if there was a questline that went through this area. I can't really tell for sure, so if you do know more about this, if there was a quest in this area, let me know. Unlike most of Torghast, this area does seem like it's kind of outside, though I mean obviously it's not. Those giant pillars do not bode well for people looking to escape though. Note that looking at it from this angle shows that there are some unfinished textures at the top of the structure, meaning that they only made it to where if you're looking at it from a distance, it looks complete. And if we do get to a certain point, we can see the inside of the chambers. Here we can even see the entrance to the level. The area is stunning to see like this. Okay, well, I won't lie to you. This exploration was longer than a lot of ones I've done because there's a lot of traveling in between stuff. I would like to set this into separate parts. So the last part of this video is just going to be me showing off how incredibly massive these pillars are. And I'm going to show you some incredible views that I found whenever I was trying to get as high in the instance as possible. So I'm going to leave it off here, and I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will see you guys in the next part. Thanks for watching.